Success starts with discipline. Success starts with self-control. You have to be able to control yourself. You have to be able to control your environment, those around you. And most importantly, you have to be able to control your urges, your vices. You can't let them control you. You need to understand how to manipulate your urges, because these urges, these vices, they aren't coming out of nowhere. They aren't happening for no reason. And as we all know, one of the biggest human urges is this desire for sex. We have a primal energy inside of us to reproduce. So no matter what you do, you can try to remove it. It's not going to happen, but you can learn to control it. You can learn to manipulate it. And what do I mean by that? Manipulate your urges, especially your sexual urges, right? Well, studies show that the most successful men in the world all had high sex drives. Your sex drive correlates to your success, because your sex drive is energy. It only correlates to success when you learn to manipulate it, when you learn to transmute it into something else. And studies also show that successful men, the most successful men, have learned the art of sex transmutation as they have gone through life. You have to understand that the desire for sex is by far the strongest and most appealing of all human emotion. And that's why when this desire is used correctly and transmuted into something else, something productive, rather than fapping or just meaningless casual sex, it can result into high achievements. But the energy must be transmuted from desire of physical contact into some other form of desire and action. That's the only way it works. Most people go through life, they get old, they mature, and they never learn that the urge of sex isn't just an urge. They think it's just you being horny. In some ways it is. That's what it is, right? Like you just being horny, you're desiring physical sex or physical contact. But there's another spiritual and scientific part to it. And that's the endless potential of this urge. The importance of it for accomplishing things in life. I won't get into deep bro science in this raw talk, but understand that the human mind, it responds to stimulation. And the greatest form of stimulation for the human body is the urge of sex. The creative imagination in the brain functions best when the brain is vibrating due to some form of stimulation at a high rate. So when your brain is stimulated at a high rate, that's when you're the most creative. That's when you're the most energetic. That's when you have the most ideas flowing through your brain. And that's why this driving force can turn normal people into geniuses, normal men into kings, if harnessed correctly. This is why the most successful men had a high sex drive. And it's not just about having a high sex drive. It's about learning how to use that sex drive, because at the end of the day, that sex drive is energy. It's not just an urge. There will never be and never has been a great leader, builder, artist, or just great achiever in life that lacks this high sex drive. The reason why most men do the things that they do, they put themselves through hard shit, go through the struggle of building businesses and making a lot of money and getting jacked and all these things, it's for men go to war for their family, for their children, for their women, to protect them. All that energy inside of you, if you're wasting it, you don't have nothing to fight for anymore, because you're conditioning your brain to think that the job is done. Every time you ejaculate, you're signaling to your evolutionary part of the brain that the job is finished. You've already reproduced. It's time to relax and it's time to chill. No need to go as hard anymore. And that's why you don't feel as strong, as energetic, as primal, as superhuman when you're constantly releasing this energy. You know, this whole no-fap topic, there's a bunch of videos on it and a bunch of people talking about it, and like you guys know, I've always said it from the very beginning, I'm not a fan of these no-fap videos on YouTube, because I feel like these YouTubers just make you more obsessed with the topic. They don't spread the message in the right way, in my opinion. They just do more harm than good. It is a very important topic, not to obsess over, but just something to keep in your head and something to be aware of. And that's the whole point of this video. Like, if you're a young man in your 20s, late teens, and especially if you're trying to build something with your life, you're trying to become an entrepreneur, you're trying to get some gains, which whatever your purpose is, when you're full of energy, when you're full of life, it's scary what you can accomplish. Not to mention all the other benefits of skin improving, mental health improving, you get more gains. And it's not just about like not fapping and watching porn. Like, obviously that's the primary reason. You shouldn't be fapping, you shouldn't be watching porn. That's the whole point of this video, right? Like, don't waste it on pixels on a screen or a tissue box or just casual meaningless sex, right? But also, this is why you should prioritize increasing your sex drive, because as I said in the beginning of the video, there will never be and never has been a great achiever in life that was lacking in sex drive. So if you're a young guy right now, which this is one of the biggest struggles of today's world, guys are just, their sex drive isn't as high, they're not as horny, ED and all these things, bro, you should prioritize, because it is an important thing, especially for a man. This is why having high testosterone is so important. It is a sex hormone. Like, having a high sex drive is a blessing. You know, sex is such a misunderstood subject these days, and men and women that have high sex drive, they're kind of shamed in some way. But if you take everything I'm saying in this video into consideration, then if you have a high sex drive, you're blessed. I have a high sex drive and I'm proud, because that shit helps me in my daily life. You feel like a man, you feel sexual, you feel energetic. Your woman, when I was with my ex, I had a high fucking sex drive towards the ending of us. She loved that shit. Like, maybe, yeah, poor her, because, you know, like, you kind of slamming it down a lot. But it's like, bro, what woman wants a guy with a low sex drive? Like, they feel wanted when you have a high sex drive. So it works in relationships, and it works in your daily life, because it gives you unlimited energy that can't be destroyed. It can only be converted and transmuted into something. You just have to choose what you're going to convert it to. So don't let anybody shame you for having a high sex drive. Don't let anybody make you feel bad for wanting to have sex and having this urge inside of you. It's called being a man. Plus, those bozos don't know what I just said in this video, because as I said, most people go through life and they never understand this. But now you understand it, and now you can use this to your advantage. So stop watching porn, stop fapping, stop having meaningless casual sex, prioritize increasing your sex drive, increase your testosterone, become sexual, become energetic, wake up every single morning with a rock hard erection, prioritize that, put an importance to that, and go through life penetrating the world with this rock hard erection, instead of low energy or ED and going through life like a little bitch with pussy boy energy and a little wimpy dick. I promise you, it'll make your life 100 times easier and 100 times more enjoyable. So I'll see you guys on the next video.